Hello, Brian the Fanboy here, and today I'm gonna talk about Super Mario. But before I begin, well, like I said in my last few videos, I want to encourage anybody who watches any videos I make this month to do something for the less fortunate during the Christmas season. And I'm going to say Christmas because I do not give them to political correctness. So donate, food, clothes, or toys, volunteer, and there are places like the Salvation Army or church or a town hall or whatever, and call whatever charity organization you decide to contact so you can donate or volunteer. And if you cannot drive or walk or whatever to those places, you can just call them, so they can pick up what there is you're going to give to the poor. So be a good person and try to do what you can for the less fortunate. Now, on to Super Mario. Now, my earliest memory of Super Mario was when I was 3 years old, and I remember watching an episode of the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. Of course, I didn't know it was called that at the time. I mean, I only saw the cartoon part of the episode, and I wasn't the whole thing because, well, my mother wanted me to go with her, probably to buy food or something. Now, the next time I saw anything that has to do with Super Mario was, well, this Happy Meal commercial from McDonald's where they were selling Super Mario toys for, the Happy Meals. Now, when I was living in the third house in America, well, at least the third house I remember living in, I do remember watching another episode of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. Well, not the whole thing, but it was just a cartoon. But it wasn't as often. And of course, like I said in my first Nintendo video, well, Super Mario was the first video game I ever played. I mean, first I played at my relative's house, and then I started playing at home once I got my own console. And then, sometimes when I went to well, whenever my father left me at my aunt and uncle's house, my grandparents' house, where his side of the family was living in. Well, there were some days when well, a cousin of mine had this Super Mario Brothers 3 recorded. It was the same, and we watched it. I've seen it more than once. And then let's see, oh yes, when uh, when my family and I moved to Chelmsford, Massachusetts, well, sometime afterwards, I got a Super Nintendo. Of course, my cousin, he had uh, he had one before, and eventually I got my own as well. And well, Super Mario World was the first video game for the Super Nintendo I ever owned. Of course, that and the only other one was not the only Super Mario games I played. I remember that in my relative's house, my cousin and I did play Super Mario Brothers 3. Not in the floor he and his parents were living in, but in the floor that our aunts and uncles and grandparents were living in. And then, well, yeah, so anyway, I did play Super Mario World on my Super Nintendo a lot, and it took me years to finally beat the game. I think I was 10 years old when I finally beat the game, but it was so long ago I can't remember. No, oh yes, and I also well, I did see the trailer for the Super Mario Brothers movie back in I think it was 1992, I think, maybe it was 1993, but I never saw the movie in theaters. However, I did get a chance to finally see the movie itself on Disney Channel back in 2001, I think. And when I first saw the movie, I was surprised it was nothing like the game. I mean, well, for one thing, well, Mario and Luigi didn't go down pipes, and there was no blocks that they can, you know, uh, punch in. And you need to have things like mushrooms and flowers and feathers, just like in video games. It was very confusing. I mean, there was mushrooms over there, and they had dinosaurs, but it was nothing like the game. Now, when my family and I were visiting relatives in Peru, oh, sorry about this. Yes, back in 1990, let's see, yeah, I think it was 1993, December for the Christmas season of that year, and I did see episodes of Super Mario Brothers 3 in Spanish because Peru is a Spanish-speaking country. Oh, sorry about this. Yeah, all right. Yeah, so yes, so and then when I was in when my family and I were living in Medford, I remember watching episodes of Super Mario Brothers cartoon again, but in English this time. And of course, I did see episodes of Super Mario World, which was yes. So there were yeah, Super Mario World, and the yeah, it was based on the video game. And there were times that whenever that show was on, I would grab my controller and pretend that I was playing the game. And also growing up, I was a Nintendo kid because, well, I mean, I know there was Sega at that time, but for me, I never asked for Sega because I like Nintendo better. Plus, you cannot play a Super Mario game on on a Sega. Of course, at the time, I didn't know it was because that copyright laws and all that stuff. Now, see. Oh yes, and I think I did this before when I was a bit older, but the reason oh yeah, I remember now. Yeah, for my Super Nintendo, I also got Super Mario All Stars, the video game. Yeah, so yeah, that was the video game that had the old Super Mario games from the original Nintendo console, made so you can play it on the Super Nintendo. So it came with Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers: The Lost World, Super Mario 3, I mean Super Mario 2, and then Super Mario Brothers 3. Of course, I could never beat Super Mario The Lost Levels, and I could never beat in Super Mario 3. I mean, I only made it to the final world and to the final Koopaling Castle. I never made it to Bowser's Castle. Oh yes, speaking of Bowser, yes, because of the Super Mario cartoon, I always called him Koopa, and my cousin, he would keep telling me it's Bowser, but you know, because I watched the TV when I was growing up, I thought it was the name of the characters I heard, and I was surprised that in the Super Mario Brothers movie, the princess was called Daisy and not Princess Toadstool. Mm, That's the name. Those are the names that I kind of grew up with. And there was one summer where, I would watch Super Mario Brothers, the episodes of the Super Mario Brothers Super Show on weekday mornings. And since I didn't have school during the summer, I could watch those episodes, without how to worry about getting rid of school. And that's when I learned the names, and of course that was the show where I learned about the Legend of Zelda. I might talk a bit more about that franchise in another video, but we'll see. And then eventually I got the Nintendo 64. Of course, the first game for it wasn't Super Mario that I played on. I mean, my cousin had one before I did. I mean, the console. But the reason I didn't get it back when it was new was because of this problem I have. But I'll talk more about that in another video. Yes, I mean, well, the first game I had was Spider-Man, Marvel's Galactic Rescue, and well, Mario 64. That was the final game I ever owned for the N64. And I'll talk more about that in another video. But yes, that was the final Super Mario game I ever had. I mean, I didn't own any other ones, but even though I didn't have own any more Super Mario games after that, my sister did get a GameCube, and she had some Mario games, but it was more like Mario Party. And she had others as well. I mean, she had a PlayStation before, but well, anyway, I didn't get it. Oh, sorry, something happy here. All right. So anyway, I didn't have any other Super Mario games after that, but however, or and I didn't own any more consoles, at least any more Nintendo consoles, but I was aware of some other games like Luigi's Haunted Mansion. But the reason I never asked for a GameCube was because, well, for one thing, my sister had it, already got one, and also there was no Super Mario game when that console first came out. That came later. And do you know about the like games for the Wii and Wii U? Oh, and the last Super Mario game I ever played was Super Mario Odyssey, but that was just a demo for Best Buy. And well, I did play Mario Kart 8, but and also a demo as well as Mario Tennis. But yeah, I mean, even though I don't play Super Mario games as much as I used to, it's thanks to that franchise that I got into video games. And maybe one day I will own all the Nintendo consoles I want, and maybe play all the games I never got to before. And I'm planning to buy used as well, since they cost less. I mean, if you look at how much new video games cost today, that's a lot of money. But if you buy used, then you'll save a lot of money. I mean, all the money I saved from buying used games, well, that was I had to say something. I mean, I don't have enough for a to open a bank account right now, but once I start making money again and maybe get better job, I might order those games eBay or Amazon. Of course, I'm always going to check eBay first, to see how much a used video game costs. And we look at Amazon too, yeah, just to see if they have any that cost less. But you know, it all depends. But yes, I think that's all I can say about Super Mario. And so I think that's it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.